Welcome back. For thousands of years, the humanity lived in a harmonious relationship with nature. But today, both the nature and the world peace are under the threat which has put the humanity at a cliff. We have to move forward to building an ecological civilization and descending from the present cliff of the uncertainty towards the peaceful living and inclusive development and respect for the nature. The world is facing those gloomy times in the midst of the pandemic, the conflict, and the natural calamity, disasters. Recently, we witnessed those famous caused by the nature, the horrors that witnessed in the Chamoli district, the ground of Chipko movement in Uttarakhand. The wave of industrial revolution and the nature's warning with evidence of those visible cracks in harmonious relationship with those humanity. This industrial revolution marked as a major turning point in Earth ecology and humans' relationship with the environment. The agricultural revolution, which grew 5,000 years ago, those provided the food and stability to the society. The first industrial revolution that took place 250 years ago, that was primarily with the coal and the steam. The second with electricity and the oil. And the third with computer and its accessory with IT industry. And the fourth is the fusion of technology in the physical, digital, and the technological world. During the 20th century, with the detonation of those atomic bomb, humanity entered in a new era. We gained the power to destroy ourselves without the wisdom to ensure that we must avoid doing so. It is difficult to visualize the world in which will not compete for the power and domination. To our mind, the future of peace and harmony in the 21st century is likely to be directly linked to the issues that concerning to those five key realities of the life. That is the ecology, global warming, climate change, the one aspect. The next is nuclear weapon, emerging technology, and warfare. Warfare of those continuing arms race among the nation states, geopolitics and nationalisms across the world, and the religious extremism. And the final least but not the least is poverty and the inequality. The widespread industrialization and the proliferation of those factories, destruction of the forest for the construction of roads, blocking of rivers for building massive dams, and the power stations, and the movement of vehicles, and the migration of people that have all caused a serious disturbance in the ecological system. The resulting climate change and the global warming can no longer be whisked away. In the context of the climate change and the global warming, those industry expert, environment specialists predict that it's likely to cause many catastrophic incidents, including the displacement of billions of people around the globe. Today, both the nature and world peace are under threat. All this development, coupled with geopolitics, have put humanity on a cliff, and we do not know how to retrieve the present dangerous situation away from this self-destructive ways. And this needs to be appreciated in a threefold perspective. That is the nature, science, and wisdom. Today, there is a credible threat to the human survival from the global warming and the climate change, with the potential to damage the lives and habitats of the billions of people in different parts of the world. The enormity of the challenges of conservation of the ecology and halting climate change is formidable and calls for making those changes in our behavior and thinking. At the heart of the matter is how do we move towards building the phrase sensitivity for the conservation in the civilization processes. The five events of the recent times need to be particularly referred to the bushfire in Brazil and Australia in 2019, the extinction of the species all over the world, various forms, the outbreak of the pandemic in Hong Kong in 2002-2003, way back in the SARS form, and coronavirus pandemic most recently, and the forest fire in California, US, alongside the major outbreak in South Latin American continent. The future of peace and harmony is basically depends on those five areas that mentioned earlier. The magnitude of the destruction caused by the Australian bushfire was hard to comprehend. More than 6.3 million hectares of land were affected on that time in 2019. The Amazon rainforest saw a surge in the fires occurring in the rainforest. It is maybe mentioned that a large number of species have already become extinct, and to recount the species we lost in 2019 alone, the 3 bird species, 2 frogs, a shark, a famous snail, and one of the world's largest freshwater fish were among those that declared extinct in 2019. We are facing those pandemic that has engulfed the entire world and has adversely affected travel and trade, resulted in the global slowdown and in fact the recession in those economies. All these have to lead to the deprivation of the lower and middle class as well as the daily wage earners of their means of livelihood. The 2020 California wildfires that brought roughly 100 million acres of land that triggered mass evacuation and caused the huge death. Information and the communication revolution in rapidly transforming the way of communication, which have become enormously fast-paced. This has led to the globalization of the product, cultural values, and information. It is integrating the markets and trades, but what becomes of environment and nature in such scenario remains a matter of great concern. The US has withdrawn those earlier climate change accord, popularly Paris Agreement. Thankfully, Joe Biden has reversed the decision, has also promised to spend those $2 trillion over the 4 years to escalate the use of clean energy and ultimately phase out the burning of oil, gas, and coal, the natural resources, which is very limited and very soon is become extinct from the environment. These 5 events has given us a signal that if ecology problems are not attended to urgently, the world may not need World War to destroy itself. That's all for now. I hope this information will be useful, alarming, raise those concerns. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.